It's time for us to review the newspapers, the stories that made it into the newspapers. And our guest joining us for this conversation, the very first person right now, is Member of Parliament for Sisala East, Mohammed Bataglia. And in the course of the conversation, when others join us, we will introduce them. So for now, Honorable, welcome to the program.
Thank you
It has been a while.
It's been a while. You know, I am a rural person.
Oh.
I've been at the constituency for some time now. I came in last week, and thankfully, we are on again for the business of Parliament.
Good to hear. Well, my colleague Kojo Brace to take it over.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already started having our own chat, you know.
Yeah.
But as we do always, we'll give you like 2 minutes for you to tell us what really is the issue that you want to have a take on.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kojo. And may I use this opportunity once again to say a very good morning to you and your cherished viewers across the globe. This morning has not been that very pleasant. Why my municipal chief executive was on his way to Accra for a training session, but unfortunately, upon entering Accra, he got the news that he lost a mom.
Oh.
So he's on his way back. I pray for him and the family and give them the strength to be able to manage their issues with these trial times. Another sad issue is about, over the weekend, I think we all heard that some students from Laura got drowned, which is so sad. It's been a routine that they always do as cadet team. But unfortunately, on Saturday, what happened wasn't that pleasant. My heart drove up to them, the family, the school. The headmaster of the school, Baruch Primus, was my tutor at the college. He's a very kind person. He just took over the school 2 weeks and this thing hit him. I'm praying that he's so that strong to be able to manage the issues that have confronted him. But lastly, it's also to talk about, I'm sure today, over 600 children will be coming out of the BECE examination. And in my constituency, we have 1,295. It is my prayer that they have gone in there, looked at the questions, reflected over that, and written something that is reasonable that could take them to the next stage. I am sure our education hovers around these levels of the young ones who are trying to catch up with the next level. But at the same time that they are very little to be able to take good decisions for themselves to be able to move forward. It is our prayer that the hard work being put in by the parents, the teachers, and all stakeholders should be able to give them the right guidance to carry themselves to the next level. We want to see responsible leadership taking over from us when we are not there. Thank you so much.
Solid. Well, Sweetie, I have the daily graphic.
Okay, let's go.
I also have the Independent, the New Independent. I also have the Catalyst. On the front page of the daily graphic, it says, at parliamentary vetting of justices, Jamafe back Supreme Court in North. We also have teachers aiding candidates to cheat in BEC, worrying. That's according to WAEC. New CSD depository post-trade infrastructure go live, and abolish justices sitting as additional judges, Justice AJ advocates. I don't know what you have on your front page.
Yeah, for the Ghanaian Times front page, Gunfire rocks Sunyani over renewed chieftaincy conflict. Supreme Court nominee justifies, that is Judge, I think, Jamafe, justifies the establishment of public tribunals. And FNB receives $35 million capital injection to accelerate growth, lending capacity. And of course, Ghana urges Israel-Iran to exercise maximum restraint and prioritize dialogue. Yesterday, we saw the Israeli ambassador on PM Express. And in fact, you want to join us throughout the day. We'll bring you details on that. So let's get into, I think I want to start with this story here in Sunyani. Okay. I mean, public interest. Renewed chieftaincy conflict. And the story is right here. It says, there was a fierce gun battle at the Sunyani Manhene Old Palace at Sunyani of the Bono region between private security guards of the Queen Mother of Sunyani, Nana Aso Dua Breye II, and embattled Sunyani Mahene Buahin Koko III on Monday dawn, just yesterday dawn. And the clash followed renewed chieftaincy conflict between the two sides over who is the rightful claimant of the Sunyani stool. And the Ghanaian Times gathered that the Queen Mother security, numbering about 90, attempted unsuccessfully to break into the old palace to enable them have access to perform the necessary customary rites. This isn't the first time we're hearing of chieftaincy issues and conflicts spiraling into something that, you know, near catastrophe. But let me add just one more story, and then we can discuss. There's a story here about Anthony Joshua. We dealt with that in sports. Right. Supreme Court nominee justifying the establishment of public tribunals. So the president's nominee to the Supreme House, Justice Senyo Jambape, has expressed his support for the establishment of public tribunals. And according to him, this is the only way to expedite action towards reducing the workload on the normal courts. So these two stories this morning. Mr. Battaglia, where are you starting from?
Well, let me take it from the Sunyani issue. One would say the African naturally, to me, that's my understanding and personal view, that we were created by God to be a communal society where we have to act as a group, as a family. But at a point, well, it's good, but modernity is also trying to make us a bit individualistic, where we focus on ourselves and try to macro-manage everything. Trust me, before, I got the impression that politics was our bane of our disunity. But it has moved from politics to more of chieftaincy and land issues. And that is creeping deep into the society, which is very bad. It's not just in Sunyani, it's across many societies in our country. In my place like this, if you go, there are a lot of communities who are over 20 years without chief. Wow. Because it's been, even at the point where they even get one chief, it will be a dragon for the rest of his life until he dies and another issue comes. So this is something that we need to be able to look at critically. Because the more we begin to emphasize on our individual without looking at the collective good of society, it rather serves as something that brings us back and not rather propelling the development of the area. People are interested in coming to Sunyani. Sunyani is a good place, a very cozy area that people want to invest in. But once these things are there and people are not safe, I am sure most of the investment will not find place. We've seen similar things in around Upper East in Boku, which has been a long-standing conflict that has moved even government workers who are supposed to be saving lives out of that place. As I'm talking to you today, even in Boku, where we do not have even a police post now because they only have patrol people who are there. If you have a case with somebody, there's no police station for you to attend to. It is my prayer that we don't allow these issues to creep into that very deep conflict side that we cannot manage. Because the country, by some levels, lose a lot of resources through this. Even trying to put the military people there or the security posts there to be able to manage these issues, not let alone talking about the development of that area, the economic issues that will be halted in that area. All that should be taken care of. It should be looked at very strongly and make sure that families should begin to look at issues. We should begin to see ourselves as one. The essence is to be able to give governance, the essence is to be able to lead, the essence is to be able to propel development of the area. We are all seeking the good of our people. This shouldn't be something that should tear us apart to the extent that we have to be shooting at ourselves and not in different people. This is not a good spectacle, and I think that...
You mentioned something that brought to mind the National Peace Council. Yeah. You know, this falls under their purview, right? I'm wondering, would you say they're doing, are they as visible? Are they doing the work that, you know, that council was established to do? Because I think that these are issues, the thing you said was that it's not just Sunyani, and rightly so, it's everywhere. Yeah. Are they actually being intentional with dealing or de-escalating these conflicts so that they don't, you know, become something?
I think you need to tie it in with the National House of Chiefs as well.
That's true. Yeah. The original RECSEG, you know, the RECSEGs as well. What are we doing about this?
Yeah.
You know?
Sweetie, I think on a very lighter note, I think that you can compare their functions or impact to that of what the ECOWAS. When we are faced with that, you can compare that. Because they are there as bodies that are supposed to be able to give that direction. But trust me, I am not sure much is being done to achieve the aim. And like I said, we should be able to up our game and make sure that at least people should be seen to be treated fairly. We should recognize people and understand that, yes, this is us. Before even chieftaincy, we have a system that was governing us until the colonial brought issues about chieftaincy. So I think that as a people, we can do better than we are doing now. Because to be honest with you, what is happening, it doesn't augur well for this country. It's not just in Sunyani. We have several experiences where I am coming from. In the Sisala land, we have quite a number of places where we are still struggling to have chiefs. You see family issues happening. Just now, it's not even between different factions or different sections. It can sometimes be between the same family. yet you still have the disagreements of abound.
Yeah.
So we try to look at it. And like you said, it is my prayer that the Peace Council, talking about the chieftaincy institutions, should be able to look into some of these things and at least make sure that justice prevails, fairness prevails, and when that trust comes in, I'm sure we should be able to nip these issues in the bud.
But as you said, this transcends Sunyani and your area.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that a community can be without chief for 20 years, I thought about the Western region in Second D. Yeah. I'm sure you know Second D, you've heard about it. They have been without a chief for close to that time.
Yeah.
You know, so it begs the question. We've always been talking about the challenges and the problems that we do face. But how do we deal with them? We say the Peace Council should, the House of Chiefs should be able to do it. But who should lead it? It looks like it's been there for a long time. We're not getting solutions.
Yeah, bro. The point is, normally the one who is supposed to be the arbiter sometimes loses trust because of individual interest. People have interest in dealing with some of these issues. So once this is established and people begin to see sentiments of you not being fair with them, it's difficult to call them onto the table to have a discussion. So for what I think is that people should be able to, one, understand the culture of every community. For instance, even in the court, they use the principle of ascertainment, where they make sure that anybody who is talking about chieftaincy should understand the culture, the tradition, the history of the people. Once you have this fair knowledge and you are able to look at issues devoid of personal sentiments and interests, I am sure you will serve as a good body to be able to mediate within somebody. But because of individual interests, sometimes, my brother, I think that it's quite difficult.
Individual interest.
Individual interest is that people have varied interests in what they are pursuing. So parties sometimes do not see that they'll be getting justice or they'll be getting fairness from this kind of mediation that is taking place. That's normally the issue. And also, the fact that we are losing sight of who we are because we are first one before talking about who should lead us. When we begin to understand this, I am sure tempers will be able to come down a bit. Otherwise, this is retarding development and making sure that we do not get the needed progress that we want.
Is it the individual interest that is, because when you follow the British monarchy, they know who is supposed to be the monarch, all the way to the new one who has now been born. Yeah. If you take the Ashanti Kingdom, they know who is to be the king to the new one who has been born. Why is it that other tribes and other regions have that difficulty?
Well, before we enter that angle, it's a good time to bring in the Member of Parliament, Sopandai.
My boss.
Yes, your boss, Matthew Nyindam. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, my dear. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. Could you take it over? What you said, I mean, for the British, they have the heir and the spare. It's very clear that there's no competition there. I think it's time we also look to or emulate some of these things so that we don't always come back to chieftaincy.
Maybe I have to throw that too.
Story. Yes. We are talking about the gunfire issue in Sunyani over renewed chieftaincy conflict, where some 90 people belonging to one group tried to break into the palace and some sort of rebuttals back and forth. And here we are again.
Yes. Well, good morning to you. And then good morning to the people of Panda, and then my good friend. Sure. Are you a professor?
No, I'm not.
I talk GTech.
I understand where he's coming from.
He said,
I thought they have written to you. Well, I think that I've heard my brother briefly on this particular subject matter. And it's been worrying. And like all of you said, why should something that has been with us ages ago, we keep fighting over it as if we're not learning lessons? Chieftaincy is not new. In the actual sense, we say democracy is new. But for chieftaincy, it shouldn't be a subject of quarrels. If you are a royal, you are a royal. If you are not a royal, you are not a royal. But unfortunately, the canker of these chieftaincy classes has become so big in this country that by the time we finish talking about this story, I'm sure tomorrow a new story will come up. Who is a chief? These are things that are defined. But unfortunately, people try as much as possible to smuggle themselves in. Yeah. That's where the issue the issues are. And those who are supposed to be key makers, because people now think that money controls everything. Some of them, unfortunately, for some monetary benefits, will try as much as possible to smuggle unqualified persons to become chiefs.
Okay.
This is one of the biggest things I have seen. I can also, to some extent, agree that sometimes when vacant thrones are declared, potentials are many. I want to become a chief. Maybe we are all qualified. Maybe 3, 4, 5 people are qualified. But at the end of the day, there is a roadmap. And in the Akan tradition, it is the Queen Mother,
yes,
who elects, who becomes the next
chief.
And it is not just any Queen Mother. They also have some criteria, because I think this elder sister, for instance, if my mother is alive, your mother is alive, and we are all qualified. If your mother seems to be the senior most, then she does the appointment. But for whatever reason, you see people killing themselves, people fighting over this. And for condemnation, we all will sit on TVs, we will continue to do the condemnations, we will continue to say the right thing, but the implementers down there, that's where the problem really is.
There was a question about assessing the work of the National Peace Council. I mean, tied to these issues of...
Some of them are worse. Excuse me to say. It's like, let me use this simple example. If you become an MP today, you are a first-time MP, your prayer is that the party should protect you. You should not be contested. But the same message was preached to you. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you edge out your predecessor.
Yeah.
You did not allow the system to protect him.
Yeah.
But today you want to be protected. Are you getting what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There are some people who are sitting right there, the council of... you said
Peace Council.
Peace Council. I got it. Okay, Peace Council. I think I want to get.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about the National House of Chiefs.
Okay,
I think that's
okay.
I think that's the angle. Exactly. That's where I was coming from. As for Peace Council, it's a good call, to be honest with you. And if you go to every district, every region, they have subsets.
Yes.
Of Peace Council, which includes all religious bodies, being it Islam, Christian, or whatever. They have that group that can also mediate for peace. They can always mediate for peace, but they cannot mediate or select who becomes
the chief.
The chief. And that's where the problem is. As for peace talks, let's cease fire, let's all come together, massage the issues. That can be done by peace.
You see, I think that's what they're doing, massaging the
yes. Yeah. But no, you cannot. No, but you cannot go. You cannot go into somebody's tradition as peace council. You are a pastor from Pandai. You've been posted to Sunyani, and you happen to be part of the peace council. Are you the one now to go and tell the people of Sunyani who should become a chief and who shouldn't become a chief? No, you can only preach peace. That's what you can do. You can only, please, let's all cease fire, do the right thing. But those who are supposed to do the right thing, they are the kingmakers. And like I said, somebody for one reason has been compromised. How then does he speak the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that this whole chieftaincy thing, we must look at it very well. Because there is now a conflict, serious conflict, modernity and tradition. Serious conflict. You go to a community today, you have a sitting chief, he's struggling with the assemblyman who now becomes the leader of that community. You go to an area, the MP is, for the MPs, yes, the regional minister is there, the MP is there. The whole system now is established for modernity. Now tradition is also there. Who now take adjudication, who now takes the lead in this community? So I think that as a nation, and I'm happy the Constitutional Review Committee is on, we should try and see a point where these two bodies can marry properly. So that these issues, you see, some of these things to politicians to have some undertone.
Right.
So it's a whole lot of things. But what we will do, we'll just preach peace and let them tell them ceasefire whoever at the end of the day becomes a chief, let's see how we can all rally behind that person. That's the little I can say.
And sorry, just a quick one, like
yes,
with the brilliant submission. You did compare our situation to that of the British monarch. The other challenge we have is that normally when you have a structured society, things are done in an orderly manner.
Yeah.
Our case is even highly unstructured. That's what I mean. The people don't even understand the history. Everybody has a version of the history they give. Everybody has a grandfather that did something or one thing. That's the disagreement. Assuming we have a codified or documented history that everybody can rely on, so this is the document that we all rely to. I think it can help solve the problem. But you go to one person, they will call two factions and come. The first faction that will come and give their narration, you will agree with them. The next group that will also come and give their version of why they should be, you agree. So at a point, people find it so difficult to even manage some of these issues. And more so, we have a society that is also a bit not patient to be able to understand our own, our origin, where we are coming from. People do not even understand, but they act emotionally because one or two issues. People are not even looking at the benefits instead of just even looking at what can I do to help the people.
Yeah.
The issues about land, the issues about good. People begin to look at those immediate benefits. That is actually creating that problem. I kept saying that it's individual interest. People have personal interest rather than the collective interest. Let's not forget that we were first created as a communal community where we do things together. If you lose that factor, we are beginning to look at ourselves as individuals. Like he said, Honorable said, you go into our families where we have more than, like some polygamous families, we have more than one. Before, it's difficult to point hand to this is your mother. Today, people can point to their mother. Their mother will call and say, if you sit down and they take this approach, so that's what is creating the issue.
I see, for the family units, I think it's westernization, the influx of Western culture into ours. But when it comes to the breakdown of patriotism, like you said, we used to do things together. Is it because democracy has failed us?
There are many other factors that...
Because the Ghanaian, the Ghanaian I see in documentaries from, the 80s, it's not the Ghanaian I see today. The Ghanaian today is thinking about what I will eat, what I will wear. The Ghanaian then is thinking about us as a community. I was watching some documentaries about Rawlings after he, handed over power. Yeah. And the people, the way they talk about everything, it is so different from what we
remember some time past here, I did mention that our national orientation is wrong. We've gotten it wrong at some point, because the concept of delayed gratification has been thrown to the dogs.
So it's not democracy that has failed us?
Democracy is also part, because democracy is, you cannot say democracy is entirely the issue. No, you cannot say that. But I think that portions of it can be part. But what is our orientation? Even those who are supposed to be holding forth for us traditionally, the custodians, even if you go there, Western than even those who are into main structured democracy issues. So it's the human being, and what is the orientation? What are we adoring? As a country, like, is it your contribution or the contribution, what you bring on board? If it's your ideas, if it's how the integrity issues that you are looking at, or is it that you can just bring financial contributions? You go to family meetings, the one who contributes more sometimes have the biggest say. They don't care where the money comes from. The fact that you can bring money. So when you bring that kind of society, there's an interesting issue that happened when I was at the college. Unfortunately, there was an accident that happened, killed our then district chief executive, and then the driver. The driver that time was working at the assembly for close to 28 years. But every attention went to the district chief executive. So the lady, Rachel Harvey, she asked me, how long has the DDC been working? I said 9 months. He said, if it's in their society, they will recognize the driver more, because in terms of the district assembly structure or local governor, he contributed more. It doesn't matter the position. You see, that's how they look at issues. People are looking at legacy. We are looking at immediate results. Who wears what nice dress? Who drives what nice car on a bad road? Those are the issues we have.
Let me pick your thoughts on this as well, Mr. Nyindam. Do you believe that, I believe that there was a time where we were all united, fighting for democracy, self-reliance, and all the things. And then comes the practice of the democracy, the way we have been doing it. So we are contributing, we don't see the value of our contributions. We say things and they are not done. Leadership and citizenship, there's a big disconnect over there. Is that what has resulted in individuals deciding to just fend for themselves and forget about what the rest of the nation does?
You see, in one breath, I will agree with you. Then the other one, I will disagree. You see, I have always complained that we need to or rent ourselves. Sure. I believe in community development. But unfortunately, we are not looking at it from that angle. You see, when you are in a community and the community develops, everybody in that community benefits.
Sure.
And I always use myself as an example. If you go to my small house, I've been able to drill a borehole. So anytime the community is looking for water, those around me, everybody comes to my house to fetch water. So if I'm able to provide water for the whole community, and that will include myself, that pressure of somebody coming to your house every day to look for water would not be there. So the community would have developed. And being part of that community, I would have also developed. But maybe because, unfortunately, we've not been able to extend that kind of service to the entire community, pressure now falls on you. And that comes back to your question. Now individuals now begin to develop themselves instead of developing the community. I think we have failed as leaders from that angle. And I will urge, and I've always said it, that look, all the struggles we are going through, and we compare ourselves to the West. You see, if you go to the West, or the advanced or developed countries, there are certain things that nobody struggles for them. If you are going to Kumasi today and there's a very reliable means, the trains are there. Within 2-3 minutes, you can get a train, you are off in 30 minutes or 40 minutes, you are in Kumasi. Why would you want to buy a car and drive from here to Kumasi? Why would you want to do that? It wouldn't make sense. You see? So I think that as a nation, we should be thinking about developing our communities. Sometimes when I see rich people and people talking about money and they are bragging, I sit down and ask myself that, you, the media, have you taken time to even go to the person's village?
Yes,
And find out the person's contribution to that village?
Exactly.
These are things you should be interested in.
Kojo, what have you done for your village?
Not him. Not Kojo I'm talking about. Because Kojo is not having, he's not talking about cash. There are people, look, it's not for nothing that God brought you from that village. God has brought you from a village for a reason. So if you are able to make it, the first people to benefit from you should be those people. And we should be measuring people from their contributions from their homes. Yeah, it's not a funny story I'm telling you. Take it up. Let's dig back to people. Even people who say they want to become presidents. There's people who say they want to go to their homes. What has been your contribution? Take the cameras. Take the what is that? Your
microphones.
Okay,
assess them. You see, that is the only way we can turn away from this individualism to community development. I believe that sincerely, democracy to some extent has weakened us.
All right.
Are you getting me?
Okay. I mean,
the extended family system is broken down. Each man for himself. God for all of us.
I read a story about the Supreme Court nominee, Justice Jamepe, justifying the establishment of public tribunals. I know this has been a controversial issue way before I was born. It was established somewhere in 1980. Then it was reintegrated into the court system because there were issues about conflict of interest, proper procedural breaches here and there. What is your take on this matter? Yesterday, he faced the appointment committee. And he says it's the only way to expedite action towards reducing the workload on the normal courts. Should we bring back public tribunals?
Well, I would not sit here to condemn. Actually, I haven't listened to him. I've not entirely read this story too. But I'm taking it from my personal view. See, justice is very important. And that is the only place we can all run to when we are in trouble. So our justice system should be something that we don't joke with it. Because it should be a neutral place. So that if I'm troubled, when I go there, at least it doesn't matter my pests. It doesn't matter how affluent or how much money I have. I should be able to get justice there. So I am not going to condemn it. But the word used, the tribunal system, has not been that word has not been very palatable in the ears
of the Ghanaians.
Ghanaians because of the abuse in the past. So when people hear about tribunal, they quickly will have to reflect and think. And we've been practicing our democracy up to now. And no government has tried to reintroduce this tribunal system. In as much as he spoke maybe eloquently and tried to let us know that it's going to speed up the justice system and going to offload some kind of load on the main court system, I think that we should tread cautiously. We should tread cautiously in reactivating some of these tribunals, because if one innocent person is jailed, it's more dangerous. More dangerous.
But we are jailing innocent people.
It's more dangerous. But I, like I said, I am not quick to condemn it. I'm not quick to say I'm for it, but we should tread cautiously.
Okay.
Yes.
But Honorable Battaglia, now if you look at he is comparing two different eras. Yes. So one era is the military junta, right? Yes. That's when the public tribunal sent a certain message to people. But in the democratic dispensation that we are practicing, can we find space for a public tribunal? Yes. And how can we make it work effectively without not putting that kind of fear in people? Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that my senior is justified with the kind of fear he expressed, because human institutions, sometimes people can act emotionally instead of looking at the reality. But that notwithstanding, I think we've also traveled far. And we think, to me, I think that I am a bit in sync with what Justice Jamafe is saying, that we can find space, because if our courts, even that are concentrated so much on the rule of law, using their expertise, still even make mistakes. And sometimes we have people who are convicted for offenses that they've not committed. So if there's any opportunity for us to be able to relook at this and making sure that we put the right steps to make sure that we control their activities, and they should be able to support the court system, the regular court system, to be able to expedite some of the cases that we have. People are in remand for about 8-9 years and not seeing what is ahead of them. That is something that we can look at. Trust me, you should see even the concept of tribunal is to be able to bring another system to complement that of the regular court systems. In drafting our constitution, we didn't just leave it in the hands of lawyers. We are able to collect views from several people, and the principles of law is that anything you are doing, it should be reasonable. The ordinary person working on the street should be able to relate and say that if given the opportunity, this is how I'll look at it. You don't only have to focus so much on technicality. He even made a point. He said law is about 20% technicality and 80% wisdom. We have people who have great wisdom in this country. When you give them an issue to look at, without even going to the law school or reading the law books, they will be able to advise you accordingly for you to be able to take a decision that is fair and just to people. So to me, I think that it's a good call that we should look at, because we have come so far that we should be able to look at issues devoid of the past experiences, even though that serves as a guiding principle for us.
But how do we ensure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past?
For instance, our society today is well informed as compared to today. It's not just Ghana; it's about global issues. Today, you cannot just do something and sit looking at it, making it look as if it's just you. No. I think that we have come so far such that whatever we do today, the world is looking at us. We have been able to put much more structures. We can do checks and balances. We should be able to make sure that it goes through a process, a chain, that people can verify. The society is there to look. So it won't be that easy. That's why even then the politician can take people for granted. Today's politician cannot take people for granted, because people are well informed. People know what they are about. They will only be quiet and watch you, but at the right time they will take judgment against you. So I'm sure the processes are there. Once they bring out the judgment and complement, the process will be set out. If you are not satisfied with it, you can also take one or 2 or 3 steps to be able to seek for review on it. So it's a good thing that we should be able to look at. Anything that is coming to augment, I think that, and make it better, I support it.
Mr. Hindam, when it comes to, I'm sure they will bring a bill to Parliament in that regard. What should Parliament do in making sure that we deal with your fears?
You know, obviously, when the bill comes, we'll be looking at clause by clause. What is it that will be injurious to the public or to all of us? What is it that we inure to our benefits? Yeah. All those clauses are going to be scrutinized. In this country, we have good laws, beautiful laws. If somebody tells you our laws are not good, I think that I would differ. Okay? But it's about the implementation of the law. Just like my brother rightly said. He said the 20% has to do with technicalities, but 80% has to do with what?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. That is where most at times people abuse the system. Like when I said, when one innocent person is jailed, my sister quickly reminded me that there are a lot of innocent people who are languishing in our jails today. There are people...
Atta is...
yes, about 20
years.
Yeah. Somebody has come to overturn it.
Yeah.
But the person has already done 23 years. You get what I'm saying? Very painful. That's why when we the politicians, you see, we are running executive presidency. And maybe the Constitutional Review Committee will look at some of this. You see, when you have power in the hands of one person who can change everything, sometimes it is dangerous. I have said it on this your platform, and I'll keep saying it, that look, the judicial arm is the only arm that all of us can find refuge under. But unfortunately, today, if you go out there, people talk about how we are trying as much as possible, we the politicians, to politicize that arm of government. And if you listen to the vetting and the questions that were asked yesterday, most of these questions has to do with politicization. It is because we are witnessing it. The fear is, now that we are coming to open another arm, okay, how are we going to handle it? If even the top, the Supreme Courts, people perceive to be, is being politicized, how much more those local, excuse my language, or the lower end of it? The interference might be too much.
In the public tribunal.
In the public tribunal. And he's talking about review. How many people have the courage that after losing from one end, I'm going to another end? And it is not easy to pay for the services of a lawyer. It's not easy. How many people have the ability? If the lawyer decides, okay, let me do it pro bono for you, then you are free to go. But if they want to charge you every single step, it's not going to be easy. Okay. But like I said, I am not against it. I am not for it. I think that whatever we can do to better the judicial system, I'm all out for it. But it is not about opening more. I don't believe that. Right. It is about dealing with the challenges that the existing courts are confronted with and making sure that we do the right thing. Isn't it? And for money can do everything. So
will the minority go against this if it should come to Parliament?
It doesn't. You see, let it come before. And when it comes, we'll take a position on that. But as I sit here now, this is somebody who has expressed a view. Although, if you look at the NDC, the manifesto and all those, they've talked about bringing back this tribunal test. But I am just saying that, look, when people vote for you, they've given you all the power. It is up to you sometimes to also reflect and implement what will be of use to the people. It is not every single part of your manifesto that you have to fulfill.
Okay.
It is not that. Some places you just said it for votes and maybe you are lucky you got some votes out of it. But whatever implementation we're coming to do, we should tread cautiously and make sure that at the end of the day, we don't bring back some memories.
Grace, I know you want to get into the paper, but are you sure it's not every part of your manifesto that you have to fulfill?
You can't do everything.
At the end of your term,
it's not everything.
Judge you based on the promises you've made and how many of them you've delivered on.
Sweetie, even God who created you, during your judgment day, it's not everything about you that you can account for.
We didn't know this.
Some
That's a good question.
It's not everything that you can account for. Some God will even forget.
All right.
My
I mean, you said it
made-
here on record. When the time comes and we are pulling out these sounds, you know that you said it.
he made a beautiful statement regarding this, and I think that I'm just imagining, whilst he was talking, I was imagining that, can you imagine a tribunal system where they brought in my senior colleague Nyindan to be part? Though we might be ideologically different, but I see him as somebody who is more legacy-driven than ego.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm not.
I've seen that in him. That's why I like him. So he's somebody who looks at the issues as they are. I am sure in our society we can still find people like that and help deal with issues.
Okay, let me take you to the Daily Graphic newspaper, but I'm interested in a story on page 7 of the story. Should MMDCs be elected on partisan or non-partisan basis? This has been a discussion on the table for quite some time, but let me pick your thought on it. Let me start with you, Mr. Yendam.
You know, we got this thing wrong, and I'm still in pain. Very sincere with you. See, the kind of politics we do in this country, we got it wrong when it was time for us to get these MMDCs elections and get it. But unfortunately, in the course of this journey, politically, we all got it wrong again. Look, for us to develop the local, the base, if MMDCs are not elected, we will not be able to develop the base. In a sense that the two of us are sitting here as MPs. By the time you leave here, yes, they give MPs common fund, but it's just about
Tiny bit of
a very small amount of money. But I can tell you by the end of 4 years, what I will use my common fund to do, what this man will use his common fund to do, the assembly cannot come closer. In a sense that the DC or the municipal
chief
executive, he's not accountable to the people. If they go to him, they know they've not voted for him, so he is not accountable to the people. You see, accountability goes directly to the person they have voted for. So if you go to a village, they need a school, they will call the MP. If you go to a place they need water, they will call the MP. Whatever they need in that district or that constituency, it is you, the MP, that they are calling. But how much common fund do you have? If we elect our MMDCs, the people can hold him accountable, strict accountability, and the money that will come to the assembly, because he will be seeking for re-election, he will put it into good use. But in this case, the man is just a party person. He's been able to lobby his way out, and a position has been given to him. So all those people who helped him in getting that appointment, his loyalty is to those people. If it is the regional minister who has played a role in getting him to become a DCE, then his loyalty is to that person. If it is the MP, that way. So we have missed this opportunity. And if he's coming back, I think that both parties, MPP and DC, now we control the House. We should look at it honestly and sincerely. And for partisanship, I think yes.
Okay.
Partisanship, even the assembly elections, I still believe that it should be partisanship because already it is partisanship.
Okay.
It is just that we sit here and tell lies that it is not. Oh, this thing is not. But at the end of the day, it is partisan.
I'm grateful to you.
That's my view.
Okay.
Yes.
But Mr. Bataglia.
Yeah, I think on this score, I think I want to agree with my senior colleague. You realize before we came on set, we were discussing about the role of the MP, and I said that the Constitution thematically has given us 4 responsibilities. But if you go down to the constituency, the demands of you from your people are more than 100. There are rules and other things. So you are even seeing more, not as a lawmaker, but as a development agent. Where you don't have the resources to support that. You realize that anything that your constituents want, you are the first point of call. People will call on you, making sure that you are the one they know who they voted for. And also the question of should MMDC be voted for? I think in the past, the argument has not been that they shouldn't be voted for, but whether it should go partisan or not. But I think that we have come to a point where we have to stop playing the ostrich. Like he said, even though per the Constitution where the members or assembly members are not supposed to declare themselves as partisan, they even go claiming that they are part of this party. So I'm thinking that we can have a discussion around this table and begin to look at it. Yes, let's be very open and very frank with the realities that are on the ground. Then we can begin to elect people on partisan basis. Because I know if they place people to put in their applications for MMDC elections, and somebody from the NDC puts and the NPP, they can go on that line, also tell themselves, tell people what they can do. And if the community decides, they vote for. And it's not also, in terms of voting, I don't necessarily see that it's only NDC people that vote for the NDC person or the NPP person. We have people who are also neutrals, who, based on what you have, what you are bringing for, the message you have or the ideas that you propound, they are able to vote for you. I can say that having over 20,000 votes cannot be said that it's only these people who voted for me. There are many silent people who don't even want to be seen politically, who are voting because they think that you are doing something good. You can give them good representation. You represent their aspirations. So I clearly want to think that when we should take this discussion very seriously and open up and stop playing the ostrich. I think that we have had this kind of partisan issues. Let's allow it to go partisan and we'll all go for that.
I hope that when it gets to Parliament, you will be able to tell your people what you are
I'm sure they will come on board. Okay. Because we are all seeing the...
You know, one good reason why I support this thing is it will also take away some executive power. Okay? It will, when you are electing MMDC, it means that the powers of the president appointing has also be reduced.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? So if you go to, excuse me to say, who, for instance, and the man there is elected, it doesn't matter whether MPP or NDC. But the possibility that that man will win if it is partisan is an NDC. That's the possibility.
Yes, yes, yes.
It doesn't mean that when you are elected as the president and you are an MPP president, you cannot work with that man. It's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Yeah. But that man will not go and be implementing anything at all you bring.
Yeah.
He won't do that because he will be thinking about himself and he will do the right thing. So that power of the president sitting down and then the whip is cracked from the top straight down, we will limit that one. And I'm sure that is we can start it from that level. You see, small, before you realize our institutions will become a bit what? Become stronger. Okay. And the people will benefit. It is the people that must benefit. That's it. All right. The people.
You know, listening to the arguments pouring in from both sides, although you are agreeing that we should in fact elect these districts, MMDCs and the rest.
On partisan
lines. I think there's a threat of deepened polarization, which we are already seeing in Parliament. When you elect people along party lines, those who are elected are forced to acquiesce to whatever the party is ordering them to do. So if the NDC party decides that we are going to agree and give tax waivers on whatever, those down there have to align with what the party is saying. For all you know, they would wish to do something entirely different at that level. But if elections come in and you are put there on party lines, you are tied to the values, the direction of the party. Isn't that a danger? Something we're already seeing at national level in Parliament, coming all the way down to the grassroots.
That's a brilliant point. But trust me, the fact that I am elected, I stand a very stronger chance to tell my party that this thing you are trying to implement will cost me than the one being appointed. The MC or the citizen down there will even kowtow to or even serve as more a rubber stamp than even the elected person. So once you are elected, you are accountable to your people. Sometimes, if anything goes contrary to the desires of your people, you are able to talk. But where you believe that the one who put you there is up and not down, your focus is, like he said, maybe somebody, a strong person who is highly connected, just even took your name there. You worship that person. Whatever he says or she says, that's what you follow. But assuming you went down to the ordinary person, the last person in the constituency, and they voted for you, you know there's a community in my area, in my constituency called Benewisi. You know,
going down to the community level is also money, you know. So that is why we have financiers, political party financiers. If these people make their way to the district level, are we going to see anything different?
No, but the point is that, you see, no matter if you want to stay, no matter what it is, you still want to do things to please the people. Okay. Because if you go there and people ask you they want a borehole just for a good drinking water, and for 4 years you've not been able to provide that, the next time you go, you face the heat. So even no matter how selfish you want to be, quote and unquote, sorry, my language is,
no, it's okay.
You will still want to do things to please the people. That's the point.
You know, sweetie, for your fear, it will continue to be there. That I don't have a problem.
Fear, the fear of Ghanaians.
You see, you know something?
Yeah.
For the election of MMDCs, let's all take it as a project. I'm telling you, for people thinking this man is like for that one, you cannot do away with it. You cannot. But I'm telling you, you look at the larger benefits. Today, as I sit here, I won't say it's only MPP people who voted me. It's not true. I got votes from MPP, I got votes from the NDC. Today, if my party, I would disagree with my party. Maybe publicly, I may not do it. But on the ground, I would disagree with them.
Disagree.
But the MMDC sitting down there, have you ever seen the MMDCs have come out to say ABC? Have you ever heard it?
No.
They cannot say it because you cough, and the next day your letter is just at your. They won't even write. They will just text you that you have been fired. You see, it doesn't give them the weight they need.
The autonomy. Yeah.
It doesn't give them that weight. And if they are elected, I'm telling you, you will see the kind of improvement that will come at our local level.
All right.
They will work.
And I think by electing them on partisan line doesn't also prevent anyone who wants to run as independent.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. So,
you can.
Anyway, there's also another story in the graphic. It says teachers aiding candidates to cheat in BCA worrying. That's according to YK. Your hemp is, I'm sure you've sent people around to check on how it's going. But how do we stop this? Because this has been there for ages.
Every year.
Mr. Batagla, let me start with you on
You see, this is quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate, especially at the ages that we are helping them do this. Because right from their first point of call, you are telling them that, yes,
you can cheat.
You can cheat. We used to have, at the training college, we have one master called Andrews Kaminga. He's a Danish. On the day they were giving him a farewell party, he made a statement, very profound. He said...
After you had won?
No. When we were at the college,
okay.
I mean at the training college, he came for a program there. He was a tutor there. Then he said, in his 2-year stay in Tumu and in Ghana, he has visited basic schools and has seen that every morning children are made to place their arm on their chest and recite the national pledge. I promise of my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. But most of the adults he met, their conduct didn't show any faithfulness and commitment to Ghana. So he believed that the adults were kids who also said the same thing when they were kids in school. So it is like we say something, but we don't really know the implication of it. Otherwise, these are kids that we are modeling to take over Ghana to make sure that they serve as very responsible people in our societies. When you begin introducing this, you might have a soft spot trying to help them go through a process. Yes, maybe sometimes because of discriminatory state, because some people are somewhere where they don't even have any idea about something. But that is not advisable. And I think that is becoming a bit profound. Even when you move to the second cycles, we've seen that they've indicated schools where cheating has become a norm. We are producing people that cannot actually even stay the test of time.
And even read and write.
Universities are suffering because they think that people who come in from the secondary schools are worse. They might have the best grades. You see A. I've seen somebody with A in maths, yet he cannot even differentiate between a set square and a triangle in a rectangle. Those are the issues. So I think that this is something that is highly condemnable. Even though nobody owns it, but we are the architects of this as a people. It is unfortunate. Let's not encourage this thing at all. And I think that this is not the way to go if we want to build a very resilient and responsive society. This is not the way to go.
Mr. Hidam.
You know, it's sad anyway. I've taught for 12 years.
Okay.
And sometimes when I see these stories, I'm worried.
Which level?
I went through all the system. I taught in the primary school, I taught in the JHS, I taught in the secondary school. Maybe I'm just left with
the tertiary, yeah.
I only taught at the primary school, so that's why he's always a senior.
So all these things, I have witnessed them. But you know the danger in this. If you are not lucky as a teacher, and you are caught teaching a child, it's only God that will tell your story. There are people who are home today. Their certificates, everything has been confiscated.
Oh, okay.
And they cannot feed their wives and children today because they decided to help students. So sometimes I ask them, why will you do this? It is so pathetic that, look, the invigilation they are doing, if they tell you how much they pay them for going to invigilate, you weep for them. You weep. I'm not sure a day, the day you go and do the invigilation, I'm not sure a day is up to even 50 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
As we speak?
As we speak, I'm telling you, if you want, find out. Maybe they high, I'm not sure it's up to 50 Ghana cedis. But if you are caught teaching a child, they confiscate your certificate. So I always ask them, my brothers, why will you risk? Why taking this risk? What are you going to get? Even this child that you are teaching is not even grateful for what you have done. That child you are teaching. But teachers, sometimes, like he said, you have a soft pulse. Seeing that your own products, because, you know, that's the only thing you have. Teachers are only proud of their students. See that one of your own cannot even write something. You are forced to say, okay, let me see if I can assist this child. But it is the wrong way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way. So I want to beg teachers. See, when you are done teaching, you are done. I have also realized in life that it is not your certificate that will make you successful. Me, that's what I've also seen in life. It is not the number of certificates that you carry that will make you successful. This child that you are trying to help, if the child will be successful, the child will be successful. You don't need to risk your life, risk your certificates, what is that? Jeopardize your future that you are teaching a child, and at the end of the day, you are caught. Okay. It is a sad situation, but it happens. It happens. As a teacher, as I sit here, if God knows me very well, God will know that one day I've also taught somebody as a teacher. So it happens. And I think that we should be very careful. Teachers must be very, very careful. Do your best. Teach them. Leave them to write the exams themselves. Whatever the child comes out with, I'm sure God has a way of placing that child.
But there is something interesting at that level. Do you know now, pupils at that level, a lot of them find it difficult to string words in English?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yes. Isn't that why teachers have to aid them? Because then they can't read to understand the questions in front of them. And how do we deal with that?
You see,
when children in JHS 3 cannot read and write in English.
You see?
Because our teachers are teaching comprehension as a subject. They're teaching English grammar as a subject, you know, outside. You see, we encourage rote learning. We're not teaching you to use your brain to find the words and find out what it means, deep critical thinking. We're not teaching them that. And so they see the words and they are lost. They know what the word is. You see, confidence. I know what confidence is. When someone says confidence is the starting point, you have to really struggle. And it's not the doing of these students, it's the teachers. It is the curriculum.
Okay.
It is
we have a teacher here.
Well.
We have teachers.
Our teachers.
You know.
We have teachers. You see, I may just add myself to. I also taught.
You are right.
I taught at Academy. So I am also an experienced teacher. Yeah.
See, I think that parental irresponsibility is also very high.
Okay.
Parents don't really think about the welfare of their children any longer. You see, there are more teachers, more qualified teachers today than before. But unfortunately, like you said, some children are not able to just put some few sentences together. One, the kind of freedom of giving children of late is too much. The kind of freedom where a teacher do not have any right now to even pick a cane and hit a child. Look, this kind of, they call it mental or whatever.
yeah, mental, yes.
Whether you like it or not, you must be prepared for that mental.
Yes.
And when the teacher enters, you'll be very sure that at least you have to also do something. Even if you are the least, you have to do something. These days, all these things, it doesn't happen. You go home, sweetie. Look, those of us who campaign, sometimes I feel sorry for myself. As late as 1 or as, I don't know whether you want to call it late or dawn, you are going campaigning and you see children, villages that you don't expect that you go and meet children outside. These children are outside and their parents are sleeping. You see, all these things, how do you expect such a child to be able to put 2 or 3 sentences together? They are not learning. Nobody cares about these children. And now the teacher that is supposed to come and train the child is also not allowed.
We've been told that we have just about 5-6 minutes to go. But there's an important story we need to do. Yesterday, the wife of Ken Ofori-Atta released a statement. I don't know if it has come to your attention yet. I'm sure we'll put it on the screen for you to follow. But she's saying that this is coming from the family of Ken Ofori-Atta. My husband, Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister, has undergone the scheduled robotic-assisted radical prostatectomy. This was to deal with prostate cancer, and it was done at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota on Friday, June 13th. The procedure took 4+ hours. The doctors are pleased with how the procedure went, and she goes on to say Kenneth has always been resilient, but this has been very difficult, with OSP choosing the period just before his surgery to declare a red alert on him. So Kenneth is bearing up well and focused on doing whatever he can to be restored to good health. I don't know if we've put it up yet, and our family is truly grateful for the support and prayers of the many, many people and pastors. It looks like OSP is not giving Ken Ofori-Atta breathing space to heal. I will just
wish Ken speedy recovery. That's all I will say. As for Ken's story, we've said it and said it and said it and said it. These children today, let's talk about them. Okay? Ken will get well. Okay? OSP will get Ken. Whatever is supposed to take place will take place. But these children,
the human interest stories.
These children, they are growing up to become the Kens, the Matthews, the Sweeties, and then
the Kojos.
The Kojos. Let's see how we see. Your platform can change 1 or 2 children today.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Touched actually continue.
Are you getting what I'm saying? As for Ken's case, we've said it. After BEC, we won't talk about children again. So I think that parents should sit up and be responsible. And the laws of this country, I will talk to Aruna. I saw some code of conduct for teachers. I think we should review that code of conduct for the teachers. Because what I saw it has disabled teachers. It has completely disabled teachers. And if we continue this way, I'm very sure that in the next 10 years, we won't have schools. I'm telling you.
But you know, there was a reason we banned caning and corporal punishment and the rest. Because teachers started abusing that.
They are not abusing it.
You know,
I
saw a video.
They are not abusing it.
On social media, a teacher lashing
Do you know the number of people that their wives beat them? Do you know the number of people their husbands beat them? But you can't. All these things happen. You see, sometimes we try to compare to children. No, I'm not saying, I would never endorse abuse of any form. Yeah. We'll never do that. But sometimes we are quick to quickly give the bad examples. How many examples can you give? Okay. But look at the good side. The good side outnumber the bad side. Right. Sometimes we quickly just jump into the wrong. You can see this video. But like I said, after abuse, it has been everywhere. Wives abuse husbands. Husbands abuse even children themselves. You remember some few days ago, I'm told that a teacher was shot dead, or a child took a gun and shot. Did you hear that one? Yeah. You heard it? Yeah, but you didn't mention that one. It was a child that rather abused or even killed the teacher. So some of these things, these bad news are there. But in sincerity, let's focus on how we can train these children. Okay, let's give some time to
so I think that I also want to agree with the reasons you espouse clearly goes to expose how flawed our pedagogy is. We're talking about the curriculum and all that. And also I want to add that in some other jurisdictions, technology or modernity has become a blessing. In our case, it's rather becoming a curse. This case that cannot even pen a sentence or if you go and see the kind of message they sometimes send on WhatsApp and all those things, they are good at that. They can do this short form language and those things. They are good at that. So it is the time they spend What interests them? Unfortunately, I did mention here quite earlier that we do not emphasize on the concept of what delayed gratification. We are so immediate in whatever we want to achieve. Once we imbibe this in the minds of our young ones and they think that they can cut shortcuts and make life better, they see, I keep telling them, I went to a program and I was telling the imams, can the imam tell me, who is even a clergy, somebody we look up to, or the pastor, can they tell me that their children are so interested in taking after them? The children rather see something that is outside that is so quick that they think that they should rather emulate on that. We are facing that challenge. These young ones are not that completely ignorant. I think that we should be able to share the responsibility clearly. I agree with you. But also coming to, like he said, to me, with the issues about Ken, these nations have said it. Mine is just to make sure that they try to exhibit in good faith. I am sure me, Mohammed Batakala, sitting down here, if I have a challenge and I'm supposed to report at work, and my wife writes to my boss, would that a medical person confirming what I'm going through? I'm sure it will be taken lightly. So clearly, the wife can be looking at touching emotions, which I agree. Nobody prays that somebody should fall sick. But the right thing should be done. The right communication should be brought in. Because if indeed he's gone through this, I think there is a medical report. They should go through. Issues of confidentiality can be looked at, but they should go through that. Rather than us trying to look at it from populace and trying to touch people's emotions and all that. No, it's about the country we are running. We are hoping to create a system. I don't think the target is Ken. The target is everybody who is in leadership. The target is everybody who is hoping to be in leadership. Said that this country shouldn't be taken for granted at all times. We should make sure that we know we've been given a position to serve, not to be served. We know we are given a position of responsibility. I know if I sit in Accra here and you give me good water, I should be able to think that somebody in Gbedewisu or Kalasi do not have water to drink. That's the responsibility of me. I don't think that I'm not interested in drama. I'm interested in shaping the country that everybody will understand that, no, when I go wrong, the law will take me on.
Right.
But is she wrong to have said that declaring him on red alert just before his operation wasn't good for his, for his health?
There were happiness. I think the communication came even indicating that when he fails to turn, he will be put back there. Is that not it?
Yes.
So it's the happiness. It's not that it just happened. There were communications. Even the OSP even had a chance to say that within the same period, they tracked him. He was able to travel from US to UK and all that. So travels have been done, international travels. So if indeed it's that difficult, in this country, my boss, my senior colleague is here, people were even carried in ambulances to go into parliament to vote. We saw it. When they needed that to happen.
Be careful because
you didn't want to talk about this, but I know you have a response. So let's give you some time.
I didn't know.
I really wouldn't want to go into it because
you've decided not to go, so I'm taking time.
No, because of the extent.
Let's give you some time.
Because of the extent you went. No, that is why. No. You see, I didn't want us to be talking about this Ken matter because I sincerely believe that the interest of Ghanaians is how best OSP can come out with cases that eventually the allegations will not be allegations, but will establish the fact that, yes, the charges that Ken has done A, B, C, D is established by the court of competent jurisdiction, and the law will take its course. And for the other issues, whether Ken has written, Ken hasn't written, we've spoken extensively about that. Like I said, the wife officially has come out to say that my husband has gone through this surgery. But unfortunately, it is a troubling times for him, Ken, and then the wife. Whatever be the case, if you're a public figure, you're a public figure. Sometimes you get it cool, sometimes you won't get it. Ken has been a minister for 7 years, a minister of finance for 7 years. He's become a public figure.
Yeah, sure.
The wife should be prepared for some of these things. Good will come, bad will come. That's why I wish Ken well. All the other stories that he's saying, you people, you force Parliament,
at least
force MPs.
Call me a brother.
I say you people, not you. How for you, you are a brother, but all of you. I was just making references.
Thank you.
Everybody. You see, Parliament is such that it is because of the kind of trouble you send the 8th Parliament through. Other than that, you know very well that this gentleman was sick. But the minority by then insisted that they want to see the man They want to see him. At the end of the day, what do you expect them to do? We had 137, you had 137. We needed to pass a bill. You insisted you want to see the sick person. Is it not ambulance they will bring the person?
So to his point, how do you respond to his point that the hospital could have written, given a medical report, instead of the wife stating that we went to Mayo Clinic? Why don't the hospital write, knowing that he's on red alert?
You see, that's why I said that if OSP will help all of us, he should be focused on his core mandate. They should leave the press conferences, public opinion thing, because this Madam or Ken's wife is also trying to let the public know the situation of the husband.
Is that the right thing?
So can I ask OSP, is that the right thing to come on air and be declaring people wanted and say all manner of things? Whilst the court hasn't even condemned the person? Is it right? It is not right. But everybody wants the public to sympathize with them. Okay, OSP wants sympathy from the public. Madam Ken Oforiatta also wants public sympathy. And everybody is now playing the game in the public instead of playing the game in the courts. That's the problem.
Okay.
If not for the wife, will you know that he's gone for post-treat
Well, there were
surgery?
speculations.
No, but now you can speak on authority.
Well, true.
If not for her, will you know? No, will you know? One person just.
She gave us the details of the surgery.
Exactly. So she also decided to come to the public. This thing shouldn't be in public. Why would somebody's surgery now become a public matter?
The enemy of the right is not the wrong, it's the good. There's a thing you do that is good, but is it right?
Yes.
There's a thing you do that is right, but is it good?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And that is where we are playing. We are here on the right side, we are here on the good side. And then we are going forward with it. Praise, that's all that time has for us this morning.
There's a beautiful story about Agrek and Tumu here.
Okay, no. Take it.
So you see,
You're wrapping into.
Is it over 10,000?
Yeah, over 10,000 hectares of irrigation land to be developed in northern Ghana to boost agriculture. And they say the President Dramani Mahama has announced plans to develop over 10,000 hectares of irrigated land in Nasia, Tumu, Golung, and then to boost agriculture and create jobs for young people in northern Ghana.
Okay.
What paper was that?
That's Mkwame. So even though we have issues of power struggle,
that is why you are interested.
I'm interested because Tumu is a hub of grain.
Yes.
Tumu is a hub of arable land. Yes. That I think that anything that is going to create jobs for our young people, I am sure we are happy for it. We are a neighboring country.
You are neighboring constituency?
Yes. No, we are sharing border with.
So this Tumu is in your constituency?
That's my.
Okay, so final words in 30 seconds.
Oh, it's out for good talk. I don't have a problem.
Yes,
it's just a good talk, so no problem.
I think. Having said, I'm thinking that this is a good thing, and I think that we are welcoming it with two hands. Having said this, I want to say a very good morning to my people for giving me this opportunity, and having the privilege to sit on this table with all of you. It's a blessing. Thank you so much.
My good friend. Good morning.
It's a brother.
30 seconds. Your take.
Oh, well, I sincerely think that this BEC and children thing, we should look at it very well and look at how best we can give teachers opportunity to discipline students. The discipline in our schools has fallen completely.
Sure.
And if we don't do anything, you see, we overlearn. That's the problem. And I was happy when Trump, in the US president today, said that, look, they should allow teachers to discipline students. Even USO, they've realized that the way they are going is bad. US. So that kind of discipline, let's bring our discipline back. We overlearn certain things.
Okay.
Oh, UK, this, like this. We are not there. We are in Ghana. Let's bring some kind of discipline. Else, tomorrow, we say future leaders. There won't be future leaders.
I saw on the question of how much invigilators are getting 20 cedis, and invigilator actually texted, they're paying 20 cedis.
20 cedis.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
But,
20.
Well, I actually tell the teachers of my kids that when they deserve to be caned, do it. Oh, yeah, I tell them. But once I have told you, it means that you cannot go beyond a certain limit. Because when it happens, they will tell me.
well.
But you don't have to say, because of me, you won't punish my child. I don't want my child to be indiscipline when you have to do it, but you add sense to it as well. That's it.
Exactly.
Sure.
Those who join us for the conversation this morning, we have Member of Parliament for Sisala East, Mohammed Bataglia, and we also had the Member of Parliament for Kwandai, Matthew Nyindam, two gentlemen who joined us for a great conversation this morning.